Hello, amazing artists. Today we're going to be painting Monet's bridge. He was an impressionist artist, and he used paint to show the likeness and the feeling of the environment that he captured. And he was known for painting out in nature and capturing the feeling of what it looked like out there. So I'm going to have you pick a color that you'd like for your bridge, um, but don't pick colors that you would want for flowers. So you could use something like brown or yellow or orange, and you're going to go ahead and draw a rainbow or arching line like this, a nice big curved line going across the top and around your page. And then you're going to draw another one the same way, parallel, meaning the same distance through. And then you're going to draw vertical lines. Those are up and down. Those are like the bars going across the bridge. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the lines even more bold. What I mean is I'm going to color the lines I just drew and make them wider. We're making our bridge a little bit bigger. We're also blending the oil pastel into the line that we drew. We're making a curved line right now and just making that line wider. And then we're going to do the same thing on the top. We're going to be painting this later in our next class, so we want to make sure the oil pastel is very thick on there. Now we're going to trace these parallel vertical lines. I'm going to add one more down here. I'm going to trace these and make those wider and more thick. The oil pastels will resist the water when we paint it. That's why the thicker we make it, the greater a resist it will be. That means it will not absorb the water because it's made out of oil, so it repels the water. Now I've got my bridge. What I'm going to do next is pick a darker color, and I found a dark blue I'm going to use. What I'm going to do is just draw a line right next to the bottom of this line for my bridge. I'm going to do that all the way across. I'm just doing one at a time. And that's going to be like a shadow. The Impressionists captured light and shadow in their art. So we are showing areas where there's the shadow here. I'm turning my paper so it's easier to get to the spots. Then what I'm going to do is draw the line right under there. So it's almost like a sideways L or a letter V upside down. Try not to put your hand in the oil pastel so that way you don't get it all over your skin and smudge it all over your paper. This way, I'm lifting my hand up and just using the tip of my oil pastels to create that shadow. Next, what I'll do is get a color green. And what I'm going to do is draw big circles, kind of flat circles or ellipses on the bottom. Large. Then what I'm going to do is draw some small ones under the bridge. And then I'm going to draw medium-sized ones as I get towards the middle. And I can move them around. Next, I'm going to pick a color for some of the flowers I want to paint into my lilies. If you want to add some flowers, you can do that by just, it's almost like a W. You can make like a letter W and then just fill in. Here's my W. And then I'm just going to bring those lines up by making some other lines to make that flower. And just have fun with this. Let yourself enjoy the process. And then you're going to color in your lotus, your lily pads. I'm going to color around my flower. So that way I don't color over my lily pad. And I'm going to use some other greens too. There's a light green that I see in the oil pastels and a dark green. You can even blend the greens together. Oil pastels are good for color mixing as well. And we want to press hard so that we're transferring the oiliness of that oil pastel. Press hard. If you even want to trace your flower a little bit, you can with another color. Okay, if you have oil pieces like this, you can take this and shake it out in the garbage can. Hold it with two hands, take it and shake out some of the oil pieces. Now we also need to add some trees or tree leaves. We're just going to draw some lines, and I'm turning this upside down so that way I can more easily add these lines. without smudging all of the work that I've done down here. And then we're going to draw these ovals to make these leaves for the tree. And you could also change up the kinds of greens you're using for this process, if you'd like. I'm going to add one more flower here. And then what we'll do is write our names on the back if you haven't yet. Write your name, first name, last initial, and then write your room number in the circle and write your grade in the circle and your room number. So grade and room number. And now it's ready for us for painting. What we'll do is get our brush and we will be wetting our paper. We're going to have our watercolors with us, but we're wetting our paper. I'm dipping my brush into the water and getting my paper nice and wet right under the bridge. And then I'm going to get my blue color from my watercolor pan. And I'm just going to be touching where I put the water and pressing and letting that color move wherever that water is. And don't worry about painting around your lily pads because the water is moving around them, around the lily pads and flowers. And I want to move quickly where that water is moving. And notice how the water's kind of dancing. It's moving around. I'm going to add a little bit of purple to give that blue a little bit of a darker color. And I'm just touching it a little bit and moving it around. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, wet under inside the bridge. Add some water and paint. Add some green up into the water above. So I'm adding water once again. I'm making the paint a little darker with my green on top for those trees. And I'm going to just let that dry, and then it'll be ready for next time. We'll let our papers dry for a moment at our tables, and then we'll use 2 hands to take it over to the drying rack. We'll put it on a drying board and then slide it into one of the areas on the rack. Awesome, artists. I can't wait to see your work, and I'm excited that we have created Monet's bridge together. Have a great day.